But as we start our practice, you can take whatever pose you would like to take. I'm suggesting butterfly pose. So the heels of the feet and the soles of the feet coming together, lying completely down on your back. You can bring one hand to the heart, one hand to your navel. You could open both hands up. If this is really intense for you, feel free to just lie down. And this is where we will start this morning. And we'll just begin to focus on our breath. And as you inhale, deep inhale in, you're directing the breath deep into the navel. And as you exhale, there's this extra sense of calm. And we really consciously exhale slowly. Inhale nice and slow. And exhale. And you'll take some time here just to be. So if you chose lying down, by all means stay there. If you chose butterfly pose on your back, see if you can let go of maybe the holding of your knee a little bit, and see if you can just let yourself melt gently. So there's some ease as we find ourselves in this pose. We'll start to open the eyes. If you had your feet together, your knees out, you're slowly going to bring the kneecaps together. And feel free to pick one side or the other. You're going to roll to a side of your body and then just gently walk yourself up. And we're going to come onto the hands and the knees next. So as you come onto hands and knees, just make sure that you feel some support for your knee and for whatever you might need here. We're going to just take ourselves and take 3 rounds of cat and cow. So inhaling into cow pose, the navel sinks down towards the floor. Exhale and round your spine. Inhale again into cow pose. And exhale, round the spine. One more time, inhale here. And exhale. And then taking your time from there, take the 2 knees a little bit wider. Sit back into child's pose. Your forehead can be down on the floor. Maybe your tailbone is more lifted. That's okay. Breathe a deep inhale. And a deep exhale out. And we'll come back onto hands and knees again. So we're spending a little bit of time here. You're going to take one leg, it doesn't matter which one you start with, and you're actually just going to draw a circle with it. So widen the knees a little bit as you're going to end up shifting your weight into the leg that you tend to put the weight on as you lift the other. And we're just going to draw a circle, opening the leg and then bringing it back down. The knee stays bent. So we're just opening up our hip joint and then bringing the knee back towards the other one in the thigh as well. Once again, inhale, and then just circle and come back towards the other knee. And let's reverse the circle. So opening, and knee comes around. And we're just doing one leg to start. If this is really risky for you, come down onto your forearms. That would be okay as well. And then after those 3 rounds, you're going to take the 2 knees nice and wide and sit back into child's pose again. And once you find a really nice child's pose, breathe a deep inhale in. And a deep exhale out. You'll come up nice and tall onto the hands and knees, and you'll do this same motion with the other leg. So you'll widen your knees a little bit because you're going to end up shifting the hip bones slightly. You'll take the other leg and open and bring it back towards the other thigh. So there's just this opening of the hip and bringing it back. And this is really functional for you. And it's also something we tend to not do, but our joint is most definitely meant to do this motion. Let's open it the other way. So reverse the circle, and we'll have one more child's pose. And after 3 circle actions here, kneecaps widen again, and you'll sit back into child's pose for one more round. Breathe a deep inhale. These are momentary. Deep exhale out. And then we'll find a downward facing dog. So the 10 toes will curl under. You'll lift your hips into the air, and you'll push back into downward dog. Head can shake and nod. You'll look forward and step your feet. Halfway lift on inhale. On exhale, you'll fold and the spine will be very rounded. Inhale, you'll lift up to the ceiling, breath in. And then on exhale, bring hands to heart. In our sun salutation this morning, we'll move a little bit into low body right away. So inhale, arms will lift up, breath in, it'll have some variation to it. On exhale, swan dive to the floor to fold. Inhale, lift the heart and chest and root the right leg. Exhale, fold and lift the left leg into the air. We call this pose standing splits. Feel free to roll the left hip open so the hip does not need to square towards the floor. And then go ahead and lunge the left foot back. Now you can stay here with fingertips lifted and the hip bones lifted, or feel free to drop the kneecap to the floor. Totally up to you. Left hand grounds, we're going to add a twist. So as our left hand grounds, we're twisting towards our leg that's forward, our right leg. Inhale here. On exhale, bring the right hand back down to the floor. Step back into plank pose and feel free to take vinyasa flow here. Elbows hug the sides of your body as you lower the ribs and chest. Big toes glued to the mat. Inhale here, baby cobra, cobra or up dog. Exhale, curl 10 toes under, downward dog. Looking forward with your gaze, you'll step both feet. Halfway lift on inhale. On exhale, fold. Root to rise. Inhale, lift the heart and chest. Exhale, hands to heart. Round 2, we'll see this movement through the left side. Inhale, right up to the ceiling. Breath in, mountain pose. Exhale, swan dive to the floor to fold. Inhale, breathe and lift the heart and chest halfway. On the exhale, lift the right leg to the sky. And again, feel free to open up your hip here. As you bring the right foot gently to the earth, step it back. And then again, yogi choice to keep kneecap lifted or lower the knee gently to the floor. Right hand roots next to our left foot. We twist and open up towards the left thigh. Inhale. On exhale, bring the left hand down to the ground. Step the left foot back. High plank to low, or join me in downward facing dog if you want to bypass that movement. Exhale here together. Look forward with your gaze and step walk or float the feet. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale and fold. Root to rise, inhale, lift the heart and chest. Hands come to the heart, exhale out. Round 3, inhale, reach up to the sky, breath in. From mountain, hook the 2 thumbs, variation, we're leaning to the right side. Inhale, breathe in, heart and chest lift. Exhale, swan dive to the floor to forward fold. Halfway lift on inhale. Go ahead and step the left foot back, exhale. Walk the right foot out. We're rising up into crescent lunge. Inhale here. Relax down into the left hip. Let the left kneecap lower to the floor. Arms will lift up to the sky. Breath in. You'll take the two thumbs, hook the thumbs, and lean over the right thigh. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands come down to the floor from crescent lunge. Step the right foot back. And again, you might move through a high and low plank. You might bypass and join together in downward facing dog right here. Look forward, step the feet. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale and fold. Root to rise. Inhale, heart and chest lift. Exhale, hands to heart. Round 4, inhale, arms will lift up to the sky, breath in. You'll hook the two thumbs and lean to the left side. Inhale, reach back up, breath in. Exhale, swan dive to the floor to forward fold. Halfway lift on inhale. And as your hands come to the floor, step the right foot back. Walk the left foot out. Inhale, rise up, breath in. Crescent lunge, hook the thumbs, and lean over the left leg. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, hands come down to the floor. Left foot steps back. Option to move through high and low plank. Option to bypass. Even holding plank is another option. We're meeting in downward facing dog together. Breath in. Breath out. Look forward and step your feet. Inhale, breath in. Exhale, breath out. Inhale, root to rise. Arms, heart, and chest lift up to the sky. Good, hands to heart, breath out. Taking your time from here, you can bring big toes together. Moving into sun salutation B, we'll sit back into chair pose and arms can stay up hard or we'll reach them up to the sky, breath in. Your weight's in the heels of the feet. You can wiggle all 10 toes. Your tailbone is sinking down. Deep inhale. Exhale and fold. Halfway lift on an inhale. And as your hands come down to the floor, step both feet back now and move through high and low plank. And I'll join you in downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, we're going to take the right leg, lift it up, and then bend the knee and open our hip. So there's a lot of hip opening in our practice this day. We're taking a circle action here, a little bit of a theme. So knee is bent and we're just opening up the hip, maybe 1 or 2 circles one direction, and then change and circle the other way. Take your gaze forward, gently step the foot. Help it out at the calf or heel. You can see that demonstration. I stepped it a little bit more forward. Left heel bone comes to the floor for warrior 1. Inhale, rise up into warrior 1. Shoulders relax down. Heart and chest are lifted. You'll interlace the fingers and bring them behind the heart and chest. Pressing your sternum forward, that's the breastbone. Inhale here. Exhale, while the knee is bent, you're going to come down towards the inner thigh. And then round your spine and bring yourself back up. So this brings together our cat and cow. This brings together opening up the thigh. As we're opening up the hip again here. One more time, inhale and exhale. Rise up, inhale. And now we're going to take our time, hinge forward. This is humble warrior. If you want to lift the hands from your low back, keep the heel of the hand pressing on the other hand versus opening up. We want to keep ourselves from hyperextension in the shoulder and elbow. Head can be heavy here. You have 5 inhales and exhales in humble warrior. Breathe deep in, breathe deep out. I'm going to check you guys out a little bit. Good. There you go, Kimberly. Continue to press the palms against each other. Really nice, Sue. Your knee tracking over middle toe. One more deep inhale. One more deep exhale. Now take your time. You're going to lift your heart and chest and round your spine to come back upright. Let your shoulders relax down. You'll reach the arms up to the sky. Breath in. Pivot on the left 5 toes. Frame the right foot. Come down to the floor and move through high and low plank once again. And I'll meet you in downward facing dog on bypassing that movement myself. Now, rooted here in downward facing dog, left leg is going to lift. And we're going to bend and roll the hip joint open towards your ceiling. And then you're going to take some circles, maybe 1 or 2 each direction. So the knee is just opening and there's just a circle action. So we're spending a little bit of time inverted here, most definitely. Let's switch direction when you're ready. 1 or 2. I'm timing this to get about 2 in. That second one seems a little more generous. Look forward, stepping the left foot, help it out at the calf or heel. Right heel bone comes to the floor. Warrior 1 on side B. Arms, heart, and chest are lifting. Breath in. Take your time. Bring your hands to the small of your back. Maybe interlace fingers if you prefer that. Heart and chest lift. Kneecap is bent and tracking over your middle toe with your left leg here. You're coming down into humble warrior, and then we round the spine, tucking the chin into the chest, and come back upright, shoulders over hips. Exhaling here. Inhaling, rounding ourselves back up. One more time. Exhale, and inhale as we start to open the airway. We'll have our nice hold here with 5 breaths. Again, you have the option to open up the front of the chest and your shoulder heads, but continue to press your palms against one another. Inhale here. Exhale as you come down towards your inner thigh. Let your head possibly be heavy. You have 5 breaths in your humble warrior. Deep inhales, deep exhales here. Kimberly, play with widening your feet a little bit, make it just a little bit bigger stance, and you're gonna find that you can open up your hip just a little bit more. Yeah, better. Deep inhales and exhales. One more deep inhale. One more deep exhale. You're going to rise back up. Take your time because your head has been below the heart. And as you rise back up and stack shoulders over hips, arms will lift up to the sky. Breath in. You'll pivot on your right 5 toes. Your heel will lift. Come down to the floor and again move through high and low plank. Bypass and go to downward facing dog. Do whatever you need to do. And I will meet you from your downward dog. Let's breathe a deep inhale in downward facing dog and a deep exhale out maybe through the mouth, a little cleansing breath here. Look forward and step your feet. From halfway lift, exhale and fold. Root to rise, inhale, heart and chest will lift, breath in. And your hands will come to your heart, breath out. Kneecaps will come together. We'll sit back into chair. Heart and chest will lift, breath in. Weights in the heels of the feet. We're going to move into triangle pose from here. Exhale and fold. Halfway lift on inhale. As your hands come down to the floor, step the feet back and move through high and low plank once again if you would like to. And I'll meet you in your downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, when you get there, right leg lifts to the sky, breath in. You're stepping your right foot forward, helping it out at the calf or heel. Left heel bone comes to the floor for warrior 1. Inhale, root to rise, right here. Let's open up into warrior 2, our first time seeing this pose in this practice.
Left 5 toes open up. Arms tee open, we gaze over right middle finger. Your kneecap tracking over the middle toe. Taking your time from here, you're going to start to straighten out the right knee. Now, if you could naturally hyperextend your knee, and I'm not with you, I want you to just make sure and be very aware of a locked knee joint. This is more of a straight leg posture, asana, triangle pose. We actually don't want too much of a bend in our kneecap, but we also want to make sure that as we take this pose, we're not locking the knee. That can be really harsh. So let your left hip pull back, reach your right arm. I want you to think it's almost like you have a little coin right by your thigh in the crease, and you're holding it in there. Reaching, 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 and on the last moment, we come forward and down towards our ankle. Left arm can lift up, both palms are facing the same direction you're looking in triangle pose. Just let your heart open in this pose. We're here for 5 breaths in and out. Deep inhales and exhales. Go ahead and slowly bring yourself back up. Relaxing the shoulders down. You'll take your right foot, the front foot right now, and you're going to pivot on the heel of the foot and take all 10 toes to face side in one direction here. We're going to open up our heart and chest. Inhale here. Hinge at your hip bones as you press again. Think of that little bit of tissue, thigh and pelvis here. Left hand comes down to the floor. Right arm lifts. We're taking a nice twist. Your palm faces the direction that you're facing. And then from there, we're going to hinge at the hip and wide-legged fold. Some of you will be able to get the head down to the floor. Go for it. Some of you will get your forearms down. Whatever feels good, generous, and the most rewarding for you in the stretch this morning. Now taking your time because your head's been below your heart, slowly rise up. The shoulders will stack over the hips as you come back upright. We're in this wide-legged fold for a few more moments. We're going to take ourselves into a lunge, and I want to talk about this lateral lunge as well. When you take this lateral lunge, you want to have the kneecap still tracking over the middle toe. So as I take this, I'm pressing my butt and my tailbone back to take this lunge. I'm watching my knee from exceeding the 5 toes. So I really want to actually keep it more over the ankle joint, but if anything, just over some of the bones of our foot, but not farther than that. So some of you will be able to get quite low, but some of you will stay probably in this middle length like me. Hands are in prayer. I'm stretching the inner thigh. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to come right upright. We're going to counter the pose. Come over towards our left thigh. And then back up. Inhale. Exhale over towards our right. Dynamic movement. Inhale. Exhale over by our left. Inhale. Exhale over by the right. One more time, inhale. Exhale over to your left. And then as you come upright, shoulders over hips, you'll pivot, frame the right foot, come down to the floor, and move through a high and low plank. and we'll meet in downward facing dog. So move through, meeting there. And from downward facing dog, you'll look forward, step your 2 feet, halfway lift on an inhale, on an exhale, fold. Root to rise, inhale, heart and chest will lift. Hands will come to your heart, exhale out. Big toes come together. We have one more round. Sit back into chair pose. Inhale, heart and chest lift. So a lot of hip opening this morning. Leg opening, thigh, hip. One more deep inhale. Exhale and fold. Halfway lift on an inhale. As your hands come down to the floor, step both feet back and feel free to move through high and low plank. I will meet you in your downward facing dog. Left leg will lift to the sky and we'll step the left foot forward, helping it out at the calf or heel. Right heel will come down towards the floor. Inhale, warrior one pose. So we have already seen humble warrior. We're opening up into warrior two. Not staying in that warrior one too long. And let's start to straighten out our left leg again, watching the kneecap from locking, pulling the right hip joint back, and really acknowledging the crease that takes place with thigh, hip bone, pelvis right here. Reaching, 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 and then finding triangle pose, opening up your heart and chest. Both palms face the direction you're looking. Continue to breathe deep in and out here. Two more inhales and exhales. Go ahead and rise up. Pivot on your left foot now. All 10 toes face the same direction as your navel, your nose. Inhale here. Exhale, we're taking our wide-legged twist first. Hinge at your hips. Right hand comes down to the floor. Left arm lifts either to your hip or bring the arm all the way up to the ceiling. One more deep inhale. On your next exhale, bring your left hand down to the floor. You can let your head grow nice and heavy. Weight can go down into the outer pinky toe of each foot. And you'll find that you're going to get a nice stretch doing that. Let your head be heavy here. One more deep inhale. And then slowly we're going to rise up. Shoulders are going to relax. We're going to bring our hands to the heart. All 10 toes face the same direction as your nose, as your belly button. Push your hip bones back as you hinge a little bit forward. And then we're coming over to hold ourselves over our left thigh. Our hips are pressing back. We're finding this nice generous stretch in our opposing leg. You might find that you can frame your foot. It's a nice deep lunge, but just watching the knee here, wherever you're going. We're going to come upright and we're going to make this dynamic now. So we come over to our right, exhale, inhale upright, exhale to the left, inhaling upright, exhale to the right, inhale, over to left, two more times, inhale, and exhale, inhale, and exhale. You'll come upright, Pivot on the left heel, the 5 toes will face the direction you were moving in flow. Pivot on the right 5 toes, come down to the floor and move through high and low plank. And I'll meet you in your downward facing dog from here. Remember, always a bypass option if you need it. And from downward facing dog, go ahead and bring the knees down to the floor and sit back into child's pose. Giving yourself that little bit of permission, once again, to open up your hip from here. Deep inhale and deep exhale. Shift your body forward. Bring the forearms down to the floor. You can always take full plank. I'm just giving you another option with forearms to the floor. And we're going to find ourselves in a plank pose. So knees can always be down on the floor. We're just going to work the core a little bit here. Breathe deep in and out in the plank that you've chosen. Three more inhales and exhales, you've got this. This is a really challenging pose on a carpeted floor. So if you're doing this on carpeting with your mat, kudos to you today. It does add just a little bit more counter resistance, I guess I would call it. Something that, you know, it doesn't give you as much of a hard surface for the physics to give you energy back. So just know that that can be really challenging. Taking your time, you're going to come out of plank pose and sit back into child's pose. So a lot of child's pose today too is closing in posture. We're going to come forward. If your breath has been quickening, really harness the breath back into nose breathing. So breathing in and out through your nose to really calm your body and keep yourself more in a calm nervous state. So versus going into your central nervous system as much. Next up is a right side plank. So a lot of options here. I'm going to demo this as a forearm plank, a little bit closer to gravity. The heels click together, hip bone lifts. You can take other options at home. Left arm is lifting, hand can be at your hip. We're here for a little bit of time. You have 4 to 5 more breaths. Maybe lift your hip just a little bit higher. Play with challenging yourself. And remember, your thigh could be down as an option as well. If you took this on your full extended arm, there's just a little bit of a diagonal versus everything compressed and stacked. 2 more inhales and exhales here. And then we have a variation of child's pose. We're coming back up onto our hands and knees. So shift your body onto hands and knees, giving your shoulder a little break. You'll take the arm you were on, the right arm, lift it up to the ceiling with a big breath in. Knees are wide. And then you're going to just thread a needle, bring it right underneath the left arm and sit your hips back. And this should be pretty intense, pretty decent stretch here. One more deep inhale and one more deep exhale. You'll come upright and you'll choose the variation of a left side plank that you would like to take. Again, I'm just demoing this as a forearm plank. So the hand is down on the floor, arm that is from wrist to elbow. The ankle bones, if we do need to bring a foot out from the thigh staff, top leg goes in front of the bottom leg. When we bring our leg behind us, that's a pretty decent compression. And it's actually twisting yourself just a little bit. It's pretty hard on the pelvis and low back. So foot in front if you're going for needing to have those feet stagger. When you're ready, lifting up, maybe you're already here. Deep inhales and exhales, 6 to 7 breaths. 2 more inhales and exhales. Once more. And breathe out. You're going to come onto hands and knees, so take your time getting there. They can go wide with the knees. Left arm will lift up, breath in, and then we'll sweep our left arm underneath the right, left side of our head, come down to the floor. You can sit back for a deeper stretch for the shoulder and for your thighs and hips. One more deep inhale. And one more deep exhale. And we'll come upright. And your hands will come to the floor. And you will move through high and low plank once again, if you would like, for a little redirection of energy and blood flow. This class has had a lot of hip opening today versus balance. So if you want to practice some balance, that would be something at an at-home practice. You can play in that throughout your day. We are bypassing that component of practice and really focusing on the hips and the legs today with a lot of stretch. There was that little bit of core as well. So taking your time, if you move through one more flow, you can hop, step, or float your feet through, or I'm demoing just bringing one leg to the floor and swinging both legs around. Grab whatever you might need for final relaxation. We aren't going there just yet, but just so you have that handy. And we're going to lower ourselves all the way down onto our back next. And on our back together, and this could be your inversion eventually as well, we're going to lift our hips off the floor, pressing the navel towards the ceiling. Your glutes fire up maybe about 25% of what they could essentially do. So we aren't using the backside to do this lifting, and it's not an exercise to tone the backside. We're just lifting the navel like a little string is lightly pulling it towards the ceiling. And then we're coming back down to the floor right here. Inhale, lift. And exhale. 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. And on this last round, we're going to hold our hips up. And we're going to start to tuck the shoulders in. Hands can be at your sides. Fingertips towards the ceiling. One more breath in. And then go ahead and come down to the floor, walking the shoulders out. And you might find that this is what you take for one more round before we take a lying twist. I want to show you a shoulder stand today. So if you know shoulder stand and don't need to look at a screen or can follow the verbal cues, go for it and go ahead and go into shoulder stand. But if you're new and that isn't a familiar pose to you, I want you just to check me out for a moment so that you don't have to turn your head. Because essentially, I'm going to keep my gaze straight up versus moving my head. The feet and the legs act like they're touching a little bullseye towards the ceiling. So the knees are going to hug in, and we're going to use momentum just a little bit here.
Lifting up, whew, you can hear that in my voice, lifting the heels up to the ceiling, the feet, and then walking the elbow bones towards each other. And this is shoulder stand. And that can be a lot. I'm feeling this on my triceps. I'm feeling my hands on the low back and around the tissue there. To come out of this pose, when you're ready, the legs actually go behind you in plow pose. Arms come to your sides, and you lower yourself slowly through the core. I have to lift my head a little because of my abdominals. And keep your head down and go for it. So if you want to take shoulder stand today, your hands act like a little, and your whole arm on the floor acts like a little setup to let you do that direct upright motion with your low body and legs. Go ahead and take the pose if you'd like. Take bridge pose. We had started with that. This is a great inversion today. And a second round of it. 5 to 6 breaths here before final relaxation, before a twist and coming into that. If you've taken shoulder stand for your option, and you might have gone into this while I was still demoing, legs come behind your head, arms flatten to the floor with the palm sides down, your gaze stays looking upright towards your ceiling, and you're slowly lowering each vertebrae, the ones closest to your shoulder blades first, and then down to the low back as you slowly bring them back down to the floor. In bridge pose, we're lowering our hips. And then our twist today, we're just letting the legs fall to the left, the knees are bent. Outer left ankle, inner right ankle, and look over your right shoulder, breath in and out. Bring the knees up to the ceiling. Let them gently fall over to the right. Outer right ankle, inner left. Deep inhale, looking over your left shoulder. And deep exhale. And then we're coming onto our back here. You can always take whatever pose is going to serve you at home. The best part about home practice is you kind of get to do a little bit more of what you want without that inhibition of maybe the peer pressure of the class, the community component of the class that can strike our ego. So do whatever you want right now. I would recommend doing something that lets you chill out and not use a lot of muscle engagement. Lying down can be a great option. We just got gravity here. Gravity does engage your muscles, but lying can let yourself go a little bit more. You can close your eyes from here. Deepen the breath in and out.
Taking your time. Adding movement back into the ankles and the wrists and the fingers and the toes. Maybe a little bit of movement in your neck. You'll roll to one side of your body if you wish to end class together and practice together. You can always stay aligned as long as you need. And from the side of your body, you'll walk your hands along the ground and you'll come to easy sitting pose. Legs are crisscrossed. And we're going to end our practice with 3 inhales and exhales of gratitude together. So practicing mindfully and very naturally what comes to mind, and they can be simple words, they can be a very detailed, specific person, place, thing that comes to mind of gratitude. Seated upright through the spine, we'll start with our first breath in, mindfully coming into a focus of gratitude in your heart, in your mind, in the soul. And again, inhale. And exhale. A third round, once again, gratitude here. Breath in together. Breath out, hands to the heart. Namaste. Have a wonderful rest of your day, evening.
Thank you, Liz. It was fantastic.
Thank you. We can go here to